The movie begins, and we get to know a student named Yuzo. Yuzo is a smart model student. Not only does he always get top grades, but he's also very polite and well-behaved. One day, a new student named Chan transfers to the school. The teacher introduces Chan to the class, saying that he's the school boxing champion, and all the students applaud him, except Yuzo, who doesn't seem comfortable with Chan at all. After the teacher leaves the classroom, Chan starts a fight with one of the troublemaking students to prove himself from day one. Then, he starts mocking Yuzo and even raises his hand to hit him. A female student steps in, trying to stop him, but Chan bullies her too. Yuzo grabs Chan's hand and tells him to stop the bullying, but Chan punches him in the stomach and keeps hitting him with a notebook, shouting at him, "Greater than, looks like you forgot what you did to me back then." It turns out that Chan used to bully Yuzo back in middle school. Whenever Yuzo complained to the teacher, Chan would beat him up again for telling. Now, Yuzo is lying on the ground in pain. He grabs a pen, trembling as he stands up, while Chan mocks him, calling him a coward. Chan then takes Yuzo's hand, points it toward his own eye, and challenges him to stab him if he dares. To everyone's shock, Yuzo actually stabs him in the eye, releasing all the fear and anger he's been holding inside for years. The whole class is left stunned by what Yuzo just did. Because of what Yuzo did, he's taken to court, and the case states that Yuzo used a weapon and caused Chan to lose his right eye. It wasn't self-defense. It was a violent assault and an attempted murder. As a result, Yuzo is sentenced to prison. His mother cries for her son, and Yuzo never imagined that the one time he got into a fight, he'd end up in jail and destroy his future. He gets on the prison transport bus, but when he's about to sit down, a blonde inmate takes his seat, so Yuzo is forced to sit in the last row next to the most dangerous prisoner. When they arrive at the prison, the guards collect their belongings. The blonde inmate, Hyun, meets Yuzo and asks, "What got you in here?" Yuzo replies, "Attempted murder." Hyun gets scared and says, "I'm sorry I took your seat," then asks if they can be friends. Hyun lies and says he's also in for attempted murder. Later, they introduce themselves to the other inmates, and Hyun admits he was actually jailed for theft. An older inmate starts explaining the prison rules. Every prisoner has a rank, and your strength determines it. If you can't fight, stay out of trouble. The prison is controlled by 3 gangs. The first is led by Hyub, a former world judo champion. The second gang is led by John, a huge man who turns into a madman when he's angry. The third gang's leader is Seung. He looks short and harmless, but in a fight, he can crush anyone. The old inmate tells them that once, John and Seung teamed up to trap Hyub and get him thrown into solitary confinement. John hit Seung, and when the guard came, they both claimed Hyub attacked them. The guard believed them and sent Hyub to solitary, leaving only 2 gangs in control of the prison. But there's one inmate that no one dares to challenge. Even if all 3 gang leaders teamed up, they wouldn't be able to defeat him. His name is Doni, the same prisoner who sat next to Yuzo on the bus. Doni used to be the youngest world champion in martial arts. 2 years ago, Doni came home with flowers and gifts for his sister's birthday. When he opened the fridge, he saw blood on his hands, then frantically searched for his sister, only to find her dead, covered in blood. Suddenly, the robbers appeared and attacked him. They didn't know who they were dealing with. Doni caught all 3 and killed them the way they deserved, but he ended up in prison for excessive self-defense, something that actually exists in Korea. Yuzo is shocked after hearing all these stories and starts wondering how he's going to survive in such a terrifying prison. Later, the prisoners play a game of soccer, and one of the players gets injured. The others tell Yuzo to take his place, but Yuzo doesn't know how to play. By mistake, instead of kicking the ball, he kicks John hard. Seung laughs and says, "You just got yourself into big trouble." John's men grab Yuzo to get revenge. Yuzo remembers what Chan used to do to him, but then he spots Doni walking by. Yuzo breaks free and runs toward him, begging for help. John warns Doni, "Stay out of this if you know what's good for you." Doni hesitates for a moment, unsure whether to get involved. In the end, he decides to help and says to John, "Leave the kid alone." Then he tells Yuzo, "Come on, let's go." But John provokes Doni and orders him to stop. John tries to hit him, but Doni dodges every punch and takes him down with a single strike. Yuzo looks at Doni with deep respect. From that day on, John keeps watching Yuzo closely, his eyes full of hatred. Later, Chan visits Yuzo in prison. He says, "My boxing career ended because of you. I even dropped out of school." Yuzo apologizes, but Chan refuses to forgive him. He removes his bandage and says, "Look at my eye." Yuzo can't even look. Chan continues, "I'll be waiting for you when you get out, to make you pay for what you did." Yuzo cries, begging for mercy, but Chan says coldly, "I'll never forgive you," and walks away. Yuzo spends his days in prison filled with fear. John threatens him whenever he sees him during the day, and at night, he's haunted by nightmares of Chan's threats. One day, he sees Donnie training in the yard and decides to talk to him. He thanks Donnie for saving him, but doesn't have the courage to ask him to teach him how to fight. Every day he tries to approach him, but fear holds him back. Until one day, Donnie stops and asks, "What do you want?" Gathering his courage, Yuzo says, "I want you to teach me how to fight. I want to be strong like you." But Donnie refuses. "I won't teach you how to fight just to hurt people. I've already made that mistake once." He walks away. Yuzo doesn't give up. "I just want to live a normal life." He says, "I used to run away from every problem because I was afraid of getting hurt. I hated myself for being weak, but not anymore. I don't want to run. I want to face anyone who tries to hurt me." Donnie is moved by his words and finally agrees to train him, but under one condition: "You'll run 100 laps around the yard in 100 minutes. That's your first test." Yuzo agrees and starts running. After a while, his legs begin to ache and exhaustion kicks in, but he refuses to stop. As he runs, painful memories of being beaten flash before his eyes, and he realizes this is his only chance to change, to become someone new. By the 71st lap, he's completely drained, his body trembling and his strength fading. Finally, he collapses from exhaustion and gives up. Donnie tells him, quitting isn't shameful, but Yuzo pushes himself to keep going. He gets back on his feet and continues running until he finally collapses from exhaustion. Donnie rushes over to help him. Even though Yuzo failed the test, Donnie decides to train him anyway. Later, Donnie meets with the prison warden. It turns out they have a good relationship. Donnie asks him to move Yuzo into his cell, and the warden agrees. So Yuzo moves in with Donnie. Donnie immediately puts him to the test, ordering him to do push-ups. But Yuzo does them completely wrong and can't even manage a single pull-up. Donnie keeps encouraging him until Yuzo finally completes one, realizing just how weak he really is. Donnie starts him off with very simple exercises, since Yuzo can barely do the basics. He makes him follow a strict daily routine, training every single day. Over time, Yuzo's strength begins to grow. He starts lifting weights, doing multiple pull-ups, and moving with more confidence. Donnie makes sure he eats more, telling him food is just as important as training. Day after day, Yuzo's performance improves dramatically. His body becomes stronger, his muscles start to show. Sometimes Donnie punches him in the stomach to toughen his core, and he pushes him to lift heavier weights to build more power. With time, the weak and timid Yuzo transforms into a strong, confident fighter, so much so that even his fellow inmates are shocked by his incredible change. Meanwhile, Chan is walking down the street, feeling frustrated and lost. A car behind him honks, and the driver yells at him to move. That only makes Chan angrier. He rushes back, kicks the car's side mirror, and breaks it. The two men get out, ready to fight, but Chan beats them both easily. A gang leader named Yang happens to witness the whole thing. Impressed by Chan's strength, he hands him his business card and says, "I want you to work for me." But Chan refuses. Yang notices Chan's injured eye and says, "I can fix your eyesight, train you, make you stronger than ever." This time, Chan accepts. Back in prison, Yuzo is reading a book when Hyun walks up and asks, "Why do you keep training every day?" Yuzo replies, "At first, I just wanted to get stronger. But over time, I started enjoying the training. Now, I can't stop." Then Hyun shares some bad news. Donnie has turned 23, which means he'll be transferred to an adult prison. Yuzo is shocked and deeply upset. During training, he can't focus, lost in thought. Donnie notices his distraction and asks, "What's wrong with you today?" Yuzo hesitantly asks, "Is it true? Are you really leaving?" Donnie nods. "Yeah, you didn't think I'd be here forever, did you? Sooner or later, you'll have to rely on yourself. Don't waste the time you've got. Keep training." Later, Yuzo sees some inmates bullying Hyun. He steps in and drives them away, fighting back to defend his friend. This time, he's strong enough to win, but John finds out and orders his men, "Bring Yuzo to me. Now, I'm going to finish this once and for all." John's men approach Yuzo and trick him, saying they just want to talk privately. Yuzo, still too trusting, agrees to go with them. They take him to a workshop where John is waiting, ready for revenge. Yuzo apologizes sincerely, saying, "I'm sorry for what happened before, and I'm sorry I hit your men, but they attacked my friend first." John doesn't care. He throws the first punch, but Yuzo dodges and lands a clean hit on John's face. Everyone around is shocked. Humiliated in front of his men, John roars in anger, lifts Yuzo up, and slams him hard to the ground. But Yuzo gets up again. Yuzo uses everything he's learned from Donnie, showing sharp fighting skills, throws a powerful punch, and lands several heavy blows on John's face, knocking him down. Donnie steps in and stops Yuzo just before Yuzo, in a blind rage, would have killed him. Donnie was scared that the same thing would happen to Yuzo like it had happened to him. After that, the two walk away. On the other side, Chan gets both eyes treated, becomes more brutal and bloodthirsty than before, and gang boss Yang grows to trust him completely, sending him on many killing jobs. The next day, Donnie cooks a big meal for Yuzo. Then they start real sparring. But Yuzo isn't fighting seriously. He's still training casually with Donnie. Donnie gets angry at him and pushes him to fight with real focus and intensity. Yuzo tries to follow his orders but can't land a solid hit on Donnie. He holds back before hitting Donnie in the face. Donnie tells him, "Your technique was impressive, but when you fight, fight like you mean it. Otherwise your enemies will finish you. Still, I'm proud of you. Your performance is better than I expected." Then Donnie tells him the training is over, and reveals that today, Donnie will be leaving the prison. He praises Yuzo. "Well done for surviving the training. Even athletes can't handle this. You're talented and determined." Before he leaves, Donnie gives Yuzo one last piece of advice. "If you stop training, you'll die like a fish. Be like a shark. Never stop." Donnie leaves, and Yuzo can't hold back his tears. Donnie left a huge hole in his heart. He trains harder to forget what happened. Later, we see one of the released prisoners now working for Chan. He tells Chan that Donnie trained Yuzo and turned him into a strong fighter. The next day, Chan visits Yuzo in prison and asks, "Are you training so you can fight me when you get out?" Yuzo mocks him. "You're still the same. You haven't changed." Chan says, "I'll be waiting for the day you get out." And this time, Yuzo doesn't look afraid and doesn't lower his eyes. Meanwhile, Hyub comes out of solitary and tells John, "Everyone in solitary knows you got beaten by Yuzo." John lies and tells Hyub that Yuzo wants to kill him to take his place. Hyub believes John. After that, Yuzo is approached by Seung. Seung challenges him and offers a deal. "If you win, I'll do anything you ask." Yuzo replies, "If I win, you have to stop hitting the weak prisoners." Seung agrees, and they set a date for the fight. Then Yuzo returns to the same cell he was in before, and it turns out Hyub is now his cellmate. Hyub asks him, "Do you want to fight me and take my place?" Yuzo replies, "No, I'm not interested in fighting you." Hyub is surprised. That's not what John had told him. Days pass until the long-awaited rematch between Seung and Yuzo. Seung keeps waiting for Yuzo to show up, but a long time passes, and he doesn't appear. Seung calls him a coward. Hyub answers, suggesting they stop fighting altogether. Fighting doesn't bring peace. It only brings injuries. We can't live our lives acting like thugs forever. But Seung ignores him completely. Then Yuzo finally arrives, and everyone's eyes are on them. Seung charges first, fast and powerful, tearing Yuzo apart. Yuzo can't land a single hit. His attacks are weak and ineffective. Seung lifts him and slams him to the ground. Yuzo stands up again, but Seung kicks him hard, knocking him down once more. Seung thinks the fight is over, but Yuzo's willpower is stronger than anyone expected. He gets up again. Seung rushes in to finish him, but Yuzo sweeps his legs, takes him down, and locks him in a chokehold. Seung struggles, but Yuzo tightens his grip until Seung finally taps out. He surrenders. From that moment, Yuzo becomes the strongest fighter in the prison. Afterward, Yuzo, Hyub, Seung, and John all agree to stop bullying other inmates. Once they make peace, harmony spreads through the whole prison. Enemies become friends. Seung even teaches Yuzo how to kick properly. Hyub tells Yuzo, "The first time I saw you, I felt you were different. And I was right. You turned out to be amazing." Meanwhile, Donnie is training a new prisoner, but he never forgets Yuzo. Later, Yuzo is released early for good behavior. Before leaving, he visits the prison yard where he used to train with Donnie. He takes one last look, then walks out, a completely changed man. But outside, Chan is waiting for him. Without much talking, they start fighting. Chan, more experienced in real battles, attacks with brutal force, beating Yuzo down and mocking him. He says, "Your mother begged me to drop the charges." Hearing that, Yuzo snaps. His anger explodes and he strikes back. But Chan still dominates, knocking him to the ground, covering his face with his shirt, and punching him over and over until Yuzo starts bleeding. Then, Yuzo remembers Donnie's words, "Be like a shark, never stop." He gets back up and keeps fighting. Both of them exchange blow after blow. Yuzo starts using the boxing moves Donnie taught him and Chan grows frustrated. He can't land clean hits anymore. Then Yuzo suddenly uses Seung's signature kick, sending Chan crashing to the ground. Chan gets up, stunned. He never imagined Yuzo could be this strong. Both are exhausted, but neither wants to quit. They keep trading punches until finally, Chan gives up. He surrenders. Yuzo lets him go and walks away. Chan, defeated, can't believe he lost that fight. Later, Yuzo visits Donnie in prison. The two are happy to see each other again. Yuzo jokes, "I went to an aquarium and saw a shark that barely moves. When it sleeps, it doesn't move at all, even though you told me sharks have to keep moving or they die." Donnie laughs and replies, "Then it must already be dead." They both laugh, and that's how the story ends. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the like button. Let's reach 5,000 likes on this episode. If you made it to the end, drop a shark emoji in the comments so we'll know you enjoyed it.